So this is setting up the selfie station. Find and locate the following. You're going to need one of these screens. You're going to need a tripod. You're going to need a power supply to power this screen, and it's a USB-C. Then you're also going to need 6 rubber bands. And the rubber bands are rather thick rubber bands. Okay, we'll start up by putting the tripod up. Also, the tripod needs to be this top for this. So we're going to set up the tripod. You do that by taking and loosening these at the very bottom and expanding it out. Alright, so there's the tripod. Again, you just take these, go like that, that loosens them, and you want to make sure they're up to your height. You should be able to come up to this tripod, and it comes up to about your higher chest region. Pretend there's a camera that's going to be a little higher than this, and you want to be able to view that inside that camera. So the tripod's for your benefit more than anything else. Okay, so this goes in front. This loosens right here. This goes in front like that. Then you can tighten that back down. This shouldn't be able to move. And then also make sure that this leg is in the front of it for the next part. So I set this up for individuals that when you take a picture, that the person that you're taking a picture of is happy with the picture. Okay? So it's got these little washers on the back. You can see they drop and they fit between this tripod leg. So what I'm going to do is put a rubber band between those washing machines, and there's like 3 rubber bands per washer. I'll show you what that looks like after I have all the rubber bands in place. So it looks just like that. It's resting on this buckle, and then it is rubber band to the back. This is very sturdy. It's a very light screen too. So now we plug in the screen. There is a power. It says PD at the top, and there's HDMI right here. So find and locate your power cord. Plug it into PD, and then we'll end up plugging our camera into HDMI here in a minute. So this tripod top should be open before we start. If it is not, this is how you open it. There's a little thing at the very bottom. There's a brass. See that brass? Okay. Basically how it goes, sometimes it's like this. Okay? We need to cock this back, but we can't because this brass thing. So what we do is we pull the brass back. You see that pin drop, and now we open it up. Again, kind of looks like this. We need to open it, so we first lock back the safety, which is the brass. Cock it like that. Locate your camera. Okay, this is a Nikon 7100. That's what we're going to be using. It says Nikon 7100 on it. It has a tripod top on it. Notice the tripod top has the arrow pointing to the lens. That is correct. Okay. If you don't have one of these on your camera, you must locate the tripod top and screw it on. You should be able to have it screwed in, and this is very secure. I cannot wiggle this at all. Okay. Okay, that now goes on the tripod top. I should be able to just put it into the shoe, a little sideways, you can see like that, so that it rests in there. And then I should be able to just push it back. You see how that locked? Now without taking my hand off the camera, I'm just kind of seeing if it's locked in position correctly, it's sturdy, then I'll take my hand off. Notice that the safety should now be up. Make sure the safety is always up before you leave the camera on the tripod. Find and locate this port on the camera. Then find and locate the HDMI cord that looks like this. There's a big HDMI cord and there's a kind of a pseudo mid-size HDMI cord. Okay, this, the small one, plugs into the camera, just like that, and the other one plugs into the screen at the very bottom, which I can't do with one hand. Oh, I did it, yes. Sweet. So find and locate one of these, place it underneath the tripod, and make sure that this is plugged in, and then plug in your screen. Find and locate this. It has a camera battery with the ability to plug it into the wall. Okay? So on one end has a plug, and the other end has a camera battery. If you look at the bottom of the camera, this should slide right into the bottom right hand side of the camera. First open the door, slide the battery into the camera, and then plug in your camera. You could technically use this other plug here to plug in your flash. So that's what I did. So all together, I have my screen, my camera, and my flash all on the same. Make sure this is on orange, or that is correctly on. Any power supply will work, power strip will work. Alright, now you could take this and put it in the shoe at the very top. Sometimes you'll have to loosen this, place it in the shoe. If it's not going in, it has to be flipped around. So notice it only goes in one way. So put it in that shoe, and then tighten this down. That's what it looks like on the camera. The phone goes that way. I should be able to hit this, and it still flashes. Alright, find and locate the remote. Okay, it should be on a lanyard. Looks like this. Setting up the remote. First off, rotate this until it says M. Go like that. Rotate. You can rotate this until it says CH. Okay, and you do that by touching this little button right here. And it allows you to rotate the bottom one. So this was on M, this one's on CH. Make sure that the camera is turned on. Okay. Go to LV, which is live view. So far, if you have everything hooked up correctly in live view, you should also have a preview here. If you do not, repeat the steps. So we're going to go into M. Let's see if I can't, because this is lit, it's going to make the video kind of dark. So let's go to M menu. This is how you page up and down using the joystick. So first off, we're going to go to the little camera icon and make sure that we page over to remote control. Click the center button on the joystick and go up to quick response mode, remote, and hit OK. Then you're going to page down to the pencil, go to timers, AE lock, hit OK on the remote, go to remote on duration, and make sure this is set for 15 minutes. Alright, the other thing we're going to do is make sure that it's on autofocus, VR on, and I should be able to press this button and it'll snap a picture as long as this is off. So we have to get off the menu. So we press menu one more time, menu one more time. It should be back at the preview. Oops. There we go. So let's test out the remote. Not all remotes work quite well. The batteries die in these very often. I should be able to click this and I hear activity on the camera. Should be able to aim it just about right here on the camera. And I should be able to aim it on the other side technically, if the batteries are good. Good. So now anytime you take a picture, everything flashes and it shows the picture here so that the person that you're taking a picture of can see their picture. Also, let's say that person didn't see it because they weren't paying attention. You can hit play and it shows their picture by paging over to it. And it shows on that monitor in the front. After a couple seconds, it should go back, or you could hit play again to get back to preview. Alright, now that we have a working rig, I should be able to always hit this button, it always takes a picture, always displays on this screen. Now I'll show you where to position the tripod, which is way farther than this, and where to position the light, which is way farther than this. Alright, so you got at least 3 feet away. That's my coffee cup. It represents somebody. They stand 3 feet always away from that. Okay? That allows you to blur out the background and it looks very nice. So make sure 3 feet away. Okay, the tripod is sitting way over here and the light is sitting over there. So we're talking like about 12 feet away. Small room. But this is a nice setup. It's kind of what it looks like from here. Okay, so we're going to reposition the camera so it's in portrait, not landscape. To do that, I really need both hands, but I'm going to, grab the camera and I'm going to loosen this bolt, and that allows me to reposition the camera so that it's in portrait mode. So here's what it looks like in portrait mode. If you do need a little bit more, you can always loosen this, and this will, you can then raise this tripod top up a little further. Sometimes it's nice to have it so the wires have a little bit of room here. So that's what it looks like. Just by rotating this, and adjusting the camera. So now you should be able to take the lens like that, and you should be able to zoom in. At this point, you're probably going to need another student to be able to zoom in too, okay, and adjust the camera. But you should be able to go all the way back here. You can see that you might want to change the orientation of that, and you can with those rubber bands, depending on if you're doing landscape or portrait. So now the person knows where to stand and then be able to click the remote. Okay. Again, you want from a headshot. So right about here up. So adjust your camera so that it's easy for somebody to get in front of the screen, see what they got, and then take a picture. Alright, in this case, I should be able to get in front of the screen. Yes, I should be able to hit the remote. Bam. I can see myself in the picture. I can always crop myself out. Cool. Now I'll show you how to adjust the flash. Alright, the first thing we want to do is adjust the camera before we adjust the flash. So right now this camera is on ISO 400. We can adjust the ISO down to 100 with this by clicking the ISO button and rotating the back dial at the same time. So we should be able to have an ISO 100. Can't do that with one hand, so again, I'm just going to click this and rotate that dial with my other hand that's holding the camera. There we go, ISO 100, good. Now it's on a tripod, but I have to take pictures of people that are moving around. So we're going to adjust the shutter speed. Right now it's at 20. We're going to rotate this to be 180. The Beauty Dish doesn't support 250, so we're going to go 180. Again, that's this dial. Alright, the last adjustment is the aperture. So the aperture is this dial in the front, and we want to lower that to as low as I can get. Then I'm going to maybe just a little bit, maybe 6.778. Okay, so see how it changes. This lens supports a different aperture than most. So we're going to go 7. 6.7 to 7. Notice I can't get to 7, so 6.7 is going to be about where I'm going to land at with this lens. And this is the 18 to 300 millimeter lens. Ideally, what we want is the lens to be out, kind of like that, framed well. Okay. And since it's out like this, with that low aperture, we should be able to blur the background quite nicely. Good. So if you're setting this all up by yourself, you can see that I need to move the camera quite far up. But that screen allows you to kind of set this thing up as best as you can without anybody's help. Alright, so you're going to take a few pictures of somebody, and you're going to see this little shadow right here. See the shadow? So what that shadow is telling me that I don't have my beauty dish up high enough, and it needs to go higher. So adjust your beauty dish height, but I still also need to get a hold of this little knob right here. Okay, this knob is how strong the light is. This is what we adjust until the camera or the flat or the picture looks good. We adjust this. The higher it goes, the brighter it gets. So we'll have to adjust first how high the beauty dish is, but keep in mind there are short students that can't reach this. So you might want to take a few shots until you're happy with how bright it is. Don't adjust anything on the camera, only adjust that light. And then reposition it so it's higher up in the air, so that you don't see that shadow. You can see now that beauty dish is very high up in the air. Okay? And I should be able to aim it at that screen, take a picture. And as long as I'm far enough away from the background, which is the coffee cup, and reposition myself, I shouldn't see a shadow. Okay, no shadow in the background. See it? Cool. So once you see no shadow, that means you have a good setup. All you do now is have to make sure that that's adjusted to how you like it, and get people to pose. So we just want headshots. If you don't know what that is, see the example posted in the assignment. When you are done with everything every day, turn it off, turn these off, turn this off, and then turn your power supply off, and you are done. Just make sure that that goes on first, then your camera, then these. Do a little test, make sure everything works, and that's how you start up the day and end the day. Make sure all your power's off. All right, that's been fun. That's how you set up the selfie station. Hope you enjoyed.